All right. Let's just see how we're doing. Okay. Okay. Guys, let me know if you can hear me. I'm going to jump in the chat here and see how we're doing. Hey, Flower, let me know. I don't know. Am I back? Can you hear me? Let me know. Hi, Kylie. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. We're going to get through the last tail end of this. But yeah, hopefully, you guys can hear me. Thank you, Flower. Oh, thank you, Mel. Okay, Abby. Thank you. Okay. So I was in the middle of Virgo when I saw a Flowers note come through that specifically said, um, did the chat just, or did the video just stop? So let me know if you guys heard all of Virgo, some of Virgo. I'll go back and redo Virgo if I need to, and we'll go on to Libra. I know it was weird, right, Kat? I am back, Just B. I came right back for you guys. It was odd that it just stopped. I'm not sure why it did that. Okay. So last you heard was Leo, Just B. Okay, thank you. Last you heard was Leo. Okay. Thank you so much, Jennifer and Jess. Mel C says y'all didn't hear Virgo at all. Okay, got it. Thank you so much. We'll start right here with Virgo then. Okay, so for my Virgo and my Virgo rising folks, for you guys, this is going to take you into some sort of conversation about your physical health and well-being. And so you will, and also close out a cycle around your creativity. So some of you may be wrapping up being in a creative process and creative authority in one particular way. So if you've been, let's say, a singer your whole life, you may move into songwriting. If you've been an actor your whole life, you may move into producing, right? This kind of thing. If you've been, kind of like a woodworker or furniture builder your whole life, this is where you may move into potentially even some mentorship, where you may start to teach other people. Okay. And so with Virgo and Virgo rising, there is some sort of change in your creative process. Absolutely, some of this will have to do with transitioning your relationship to kids, if you have any. For some of you, this is transitioning out of wanting kids or having kids in those years in your life and making that decision. I don't want it. Others are going to transition into clarity. I actually really do want it, and I'm going to need to take some actions to get it. But some sort of change in your relationship to children in your world, or the potential of being a mentor or mother to a child, is absolutely on deck. And then we'll also see for Virgo and Virgo rising a picking up of power when it comes to your physical health and well-being. And so, if there are any physical health ailments that show up during this time, like within the last 6 months to 2 years, long stretch of time, I know, but Pluto moves so slow, things could have been slow moving in development and come to a head in the last 60 days. So, with Pluto jumping into Aquarius, this is going to give you an opportunity to pick up your power when it comes to your authority over your health, right? And so, whatever it is you're battling with, whatever diagnosis you have or don't have, this is when you're going to start to find an opportunity to really heal yourself, perhaps with some new healing methods and modalities. And if not new healing methods and modalities, you may take on like a new doctor, or some new approach, new treatment to help yourself. From a spiritual perspective, because I always believe whenever I do any of my own healing work, I was diagnosed with lupus and children's rheumatoid arthritis. I've healed the lupus. I'm no longer symptomatic for autoimmune disease at all. It was a long healing process and journey for me, but I had to work at all four levels. I couldn't just do the physical stuff like diet and exercise. I had to do the emotional work, the mental work, the spiritual work as well to really eradicate my body from performing in a self-attacking way. And so, if you are in this situation where you're like, I've got some sort of thing that has come up, always follow your doctor's orders, do what your doctor's telling you to do. And if you want to work at these deeper levels, the spiritual access point for the Virgo and Virgo rising is looking at where you can pick up your power. Where in your life has power and authority been thwarted or repressed or shut down or negated that you can pick up and express? That's going to help some of this buildup of energy in the physical body get released and for your power to flow organically in the way that it was spiritually intended to. And that will thus help set the stage for some of your body's healing. Okay. Go back to those questions that I mentioned in part one, and you'll be in great shape. Libra, who are my Libras in the chat? Is Libra in the house? Libra and Libra rising. Let's have a look at what this is going to be for you. Libra, for you, this movement is going to really help you solidify some things in your home sector, in your family sector, your home sector, whether or not it's the completion of renovation on a house, building a house, the completion of a nomadic period of your life, or a period where you were stable. Now you're going to find that you may move into a period of being nomadic, but there's definitely a leaving or a departure from one set of home circumstances. Could be where you live in terms of city, state, country. It could also be who you live with, moving on, moving out, wrapping up one cycle in the home sector, and moving into your next chapter. For you, the next chapter is really going to be about situating yourself where you have the opportunity to pick up greater creativity and creative authority. And so, some of you, this is really going to help you get into some fertility practices and picking up your power when it comes to having children. For others of you, what you're going to be birthing will be a sense of either new business or new creative endeavor. For Libra and Libra rising, this is your opportunity to strike out bold, do something new that the world has never seen before. There was a rapper in the last week who had announced that the album that he's about to do next is a meditation album. It's one where it's like guided meditations and breathing exercises. And this is his next big work and contribution to the world after spending years in hip hop. This kind of creativity for you, where you are following your inner guidance, marching to the beat of your own drum, this is really going to support you in exercising your power and finding your place in the world where that power can get you to the right level of recognition, money, status, all of that. Okay. Very much linked to career, but very much coming through the process of birthing something new. All right. Very exciting for Libra and Libra rising. Scorpio and Scorpio rising. For you, there is the completion of one way of thinking that may have been unconstructive for you, one way of communicating that may have consistently gotten you either into trouble or not what you want. Thought and communication is part of the game here. There could be an exiting of certain siblings, cousins, or neighbors at this time where those folks just are no longer a big part of your life, or a closure to a cycle with some of these people, where maybe you were in each other's lives in a very specific type of way with siblings, cousins, and neighbors, and now you're going to be in each other's lives in a new way. Um, this is the type of placement for you where expanded consciousness is going to open up for you. And by expanded consciousness, I mean that there's an opportunity for you to think big, think new, think next when it comes to the foundation and the roots of your life. This is where you need to remember ain't no rules but your rules, baby. You make the rules, you live by them. And this is where you're going to start to feel and see yourself liberated from some of family and society pressures to be a certain way and take back your power, reclaim your authority over your life. For some of you in this next year or two, you will need to relocate and move and find yourself a new home. The new home may be very different than one that you previously had. And some of you may find that you move in with friends, that you take on a roommate or some sort of collective housing situation that is very different than anything you've ever had before. So, for Scorpio and Scorpio rising, embrace redefining your foundation. For Sag and Sagittarius rising, who are my Sagittarius people? Did any of y'all come to the party? Are y'all here? For my Sagittarius people, let me know in the chat if you're here. Shout out to you. For you, this is going to be about your money, big time money. This is where you're going to need to pick up your power and your authority when it comes to the way you're running your financial show, or step into greater power and authority in the way that you're running your financial show. For my Sagittarius people, this particular moment in time is going to facilitate potentially some shakeups. It could potentially bring forward some debt that needs to get paid, that hasn't gotten paid or dealt with. It could potentially bring forward some inheritance that or alimony that kind of comes out of nowhere. It does look like that kind of money does land in your favor if it's like lawsuit or settlement money as well. The thing with this is that it'll be important to remember your power in this situation, right? And so the money may come in, but you still have to do the work to be a powerful manager of your money, to direct your money, and to order your spending. Right. And so with this, we have certainly investments that will need to be looked at, savings that might need some adjustment. You may need to take care of some level of setting up your own inheritance or estate planning as Pluto moves into Aquarius. And absolutely, Andrea says her son's a Sag and he just took on a new job that pays well. So yeah, all of that is going to be absolutely wonderful for you. Capricorn and Capricorn rising, we have an identity change at a fundamental level for you. You are finally completing a process where you have understood since 2008 what power is and what power isn't for you. You're starting to recognize what things you have power and control over, well, you did recognize, and what things you don't. You're getting an opportunity to close out a cycle where you used power in a very particular way. During this season of your life, you may have found that people said things to you like, oh my gosh, I found you so intimidating when I first met you. I didn't like you. This is when you'll find that some of that comes to a close, thankfully. But you'll also, through this process, recognize that you learned what it means to release other people's opinions about you, release what other people want you to be and do, and step into who you want to be and what you want to do, Capricorn. For Capricorn and Capricorn rising as well, there's also some work to be done around redefinition and greater freedom in your identity. The question you want to ask yourself is one that I've placed in a recent lunar update. What's the best that can happen? And really starting to recognize the only thing you can ever really lose is your own self-respect. And so giving yourself that permission to step into valuing yourself and your power in ways that the world can see it and understand how they should value you, being the authority on what you value and how the world can value you. This is what's happening next. Hang on one second, guys. I will be right back to do Aquarius and Pisces. I'll be right back, guys. So sorry about that, guys. I needed to go handle something really quick. Aquarius, let's talk about the identity shift. As Pluto moves into your sign, you are going to find that you are undertaking an identity change of such great proportion that people who knew you 5 years ago and who will know you 5 years from now will say that you are a completely different person. You may even become physically unrecognizable in terms of the level of state change that unfolds for you. You're on a track for hyper growth, Aquarius. And this will give you an opportunity to really see what's possible when you stop letting the circumstances of your life run your show and you run your circumstances. Aquarius, these next 20 years are going to open up for you the answer that you've all been waiting for. Aquarius, you're right. You'll start to see more people agree with you, see the enlightenment in some of your ways, look to you for authority and leadership, and really understand you in ways from a world perspective that you may have previously felt misunderstood for just being yourself. You'll also start to get very comfortable with yourself and really stop caring what other people think as much as you have. And you'll also start to see some of your ideas being adopted in the mainstream, in mainstream life, in mainstream conversation. Aquarius, you're going to find empowerment in this conversation through ownership of who you are and releasing any type of people pleasing in order to stay connected to other people and allowing the other people, which you already do well, the freedom to be who they are. But it's going to come through the permission and freedom you give yourself to be who you are. As you step into that authenticity and creative authority around your selfhood and identity, you're going to start to find that the people around you open up and feel more at ease in being themselves at well. That thing I was just telling Capricorn about how people may say, "Oh, I really found you intimidating since 2008." You're going to step into this between now and 2044. So just get ready. You're going to come in with a very big energy in many circumstances. And the issue isn't hiding it, it's about learning who's ready to meet you and working with those people first. Okay. Last but not least, Pisces and Pisces rising. Oh, my dear Pisces, you are, who are the Pisces in the chat? Are there any Pisces folks? Um, yes, it resonates for Cancer. Yeah. For my Pisces folks, you guys are going through a psychological change and a spiritual change of epic proportions. Many Pisces people are very naturally intuitive. However, you will find that your intuition is on steroids as we move into this next season. With Pluto moving into Aquarius, it is going to open up the power of your subconscious mind like never before and give you access to the marionette strings that control your life so that you can take those strings back from family, from your childhood, from your boss and their opinion of you, from your friends and their opinions, from your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your child, your spouse, and really control those marionette strings for yourself. You're going to start to understand the power of some of the subconscious patterns you've been running and begin the process of breaking patterns that have been unhelpful for you and learning how to implant patterns for yourself or program yourself in ways that will really serve. For some of you, you may even use technology to help you with this, some form of new technology when it comes to reprogramming the subconscious mind. There are a lot of new devices out here for optimizing the brain. You may start to experiment with some of those. Just be careful. The brain's a powerful but sensitive instrument, and we only get one. So just be very careful with that. We have yet to figure out the brain transplant thing. I will also say that for Pisces, the arena of sleep and dreams is going to be extraordinarily significant for you if it hasn't already been. You're going to start to get messages about where you need to pick up your power in your life. The dreams may be uncomfortable, but they will reveal to you where the opportunity is there to be the most powerful version of yourself yet, if you are willing to take the actions to do so. And lastly, there's been any format of like mental health challenges or self-sabotage that has gone on for you, Pisces. This is the season in which you're going to be able to overcome that, but it will, again, Pluto goes to those willing to work its power. You're going to have to be willing to look in that direction and wield your power and be relentless about your solutions in order to make sure your solutions stick for you. Either way, Pisces, your intuition is about to be on 10. I know you can already be very intuitive, but your ability to be a human lie detector is about to be through the roof. So, when you're picking up vibes that just about things that don't serve you, gather the tools you need to either call it out or leave it alone and walk away. Be a part of the solution or release it altogether. Okay. Um, and that's all 12 signs. I love it. If you have been wanting to have some time so that you have the ability to look at this for you and your chart and how all of this plays out in more specific detail, especially if you're part of the group of folks who are stuck, I strongly encourage you to go ahead and book a reading with me so that so that we can have a conversation together about how to work with Pluto's energy in your chart. Like I said, all of us are on a moving train. Some of our destinations are coming earlier than other people's destinations. But even though your destination might not be here yet, that doesn't mean there isn't anything to do. And so if you're in the place where you're like, I see something's changing, I just don't know what to do, this is a great time to get on my private list. Definitely book a reading. It will open up for you where the solutions are in your chart. Okay. Super long broadcast, but this is absolutely one of my favorite things to do. I'm going to hang out for just a couple minutes, see if there are any questions. And then I'm going to close up shop. How did you guys like this kind of content? Are you into this kind of content? It's more of my favorite content to do. Um, But let me know what you think. I'm definitely curious if you have questions, if you've got shares or reflections, I'd love to hear those. Let's see. Mhm. Thank you, Kylie. Always appreciate you. Hope Glitterati. Thank you. Flower and Forgiveness. Thank you so much. Cat Bond. I'm really grateful for the mods. Thanks for showing up today, guys. It was great to work with you. Okay, let's see. Samantha says she loved it. Giggle Glimmer. I love that font. You loved it. Thanks for letting me know. I definitely appreciate that. Questions, thoughts, reflections. Okay. Samantha says, loved it so much. Or Elizabeth says, loved it so much. Samantha says, but what do we do with those four questions? I mean, your inner guidance will tell you, but if you need some help, I'm here for you. When you book a session, Mel C says, I really enjoy this, and it's nice to hear you more than the lunar updates. Yeah, right? That's what I was thinking, Mel C. Just B says, I love the content. I truly love when you do this type of recording. Awesome. I'm glad you're feeling it. Melusine says, thank you for the overview and prep. You're so welcome, Melusine. I love seeing you here. Flower says she loves the lives, sharing what others have been feeling. Yeah, I'm always curious about what others are going through too. So I love when you guys drop it in the chat or the comments. Hey, this is how it's working out for me. So what's going on? Pallavi says, hey, Kay, I loved it. What could this mean for online scams? I'm seeing a lot these days. Yeah, right. So power goes where Pluto goes. And with Pluto in Aquarius, Pallavi, Aquarius governing the internet, um, it power is neutral in and of itself, right? It can be used for good and it can be used for ill. And so with Pluto moving into the sign of the internet, we will see because Pluto in shadow is absolutely manipulation and scams. So we can see a proliferation of these unfolding at this time. It said that's what you said you're seeing. I haven't seen as many, but that doesn't mean they're not there, right? I think some of this is just kind of where my attention has been. Elizabeth says, how can the rising and sun placements different? I think you mean differ in how the energies show up. Um, that depends on your chart. I would need to see the sun's house placement to be more specific for you, but it can be very different depending upon the house the sun sits in, for sure. Kylie says, expectations for Valentine's Day and Valentine's Day energies. Ooh, I know, right? We're already kind of in some of the Valentine's Day energies with this February Aquarius new moon here. And here's that new moon once again tomorrow at 5:58 p.m. And yeah, this is really kind of the Valentine's Day energy. The last lunar update I provided detailed what the energy of that whole week is really going to look like. So if I were to fast forward in time just for you to see to the 14th, most of the planets are really going to be, because it's only 5 days later, some of this in roughly the same position, Kylie. So excuse me for coughing in y'all's ear. Don't worry, I have a mask on. So yeah, we have Pluto, Mars, and Venus all in a tight little bunch here. I covered this energy pretty thoroughly at the most recent lunar update. Mercury is still in Mercury's position. Chariklo is still in Chariklo's position. The sun's still in the sun's position. The only thing is that the moon and Jupiter have come together up here in Taurus. And so with that, it does get kind of like a nice effervescence, like bubbly, positive, optimistic. It could be romantic kind of vibe. Certainly the potential for passion, absolutely, with Jupiter and the moon speaking to Mars, Pluto, and Venus. But I definitely covered the passion parts in the most recent lunar update. So I'll advise you to have a listen to that because it's roughly the same. Mm. Let's see. Duchess says, I loved it. Thank you. The freedom theme definitely shows up in my life. I'm so glad that you shared. Thank you. It's showing up for all of us. Elizabeth, how can there, okay, we talked about that. Kylie talked about that. Mel C says you talked about endings like for Capricorn and the identity. Does that mean there is also the start of new? Absolutely. New beginnings, absolutely. They're gonna be because Aquarius governs the new, it governs the next, but it also governs the unconventional and uncanny. So whatever is new, especially when Pluto is involved, when Pluto resurrects things or starts things anew, it starts things anew in a different shape or format than it was previously. It's never the same. So, absolutely new beginnings and 100% something that is more evolved. And that's what Aquarius governs is evolution, something that's more evolved than what was. Pallavi asks, is this transit having an impact on technology? Absolutely. That's why we're seeing so many conversations about AI and robots. Um, we're seeing lots of conversations about, I think, were they like the creators of Snapchat and Facebook and the representative from TikTok testified in Congress this week about the harm, or last week about the harm their platforms have on children. There's technology, and then Aquarius, and there's children, that's Leo. That conversation is going to continue to evolve, absolutely, and very rapidly too. Mm. Okay. Kylie says I'm always taking Valentine's applications. You're funny. It's always awesome to hang out with you guys. You know where to find me if you want to book a reading. A half hour might be really, honestly, like all you need to really look at this Plutonian stuff, if that's the only question you have. But if you've got other questions, I certainly made it easy for you when you jump on the private list. There is that 20% off coupon for first timers to get that full hour. And the link before that is right here. So I have some time stamping to do, really. So I'm going to let you guys go. Maybe have some dinner, get into that, and I will look forward to reading for you very soon. Take great care, guys, and bye for now.